Hey guys, what's up? You're in Steve-O's world. So whatever you're doing in your world, just forget it. You're over on my side now. What do we got today for you? We have an 8-frame beefy right over there. 8 deep frames. I'm using the beefy wood on the ends. 2x. Actually, I found for me, buying the 2x6 is 16 feet long. 16 feet long. Works good for me, and I scarify the joint. Put each one in the vise, and I scarify it with that little saw over there. Little Japanese whippy saw, I call it. And then I glue both sides with Bondtite 3, and I put one clamp, Uno 1, in the center. And I just start stacking them up over here, wherever. So that's my box. Do the same things for the 5-frame. Because of the same depth, they're 10 inches. They're 10 inches deep. So I glue the two together, and then I throw them on the table saw, and I cut off the extra to get to the 10-inch. And that leaves you a nice beefy handle on that thing. See? See, we get nice and beefy. Now you could undercut and make a regular factory type handle. Whatever floats your boat. And then I just shoot it with an 1.25 inch staple. I just hold it up and eyeball it and shoot 3 staples in it. That's got it held then, no clamps. Then I come in and pilot 3/8 inch holes and zap in 2-inch deck screws. So I've been watching the old Bob Binney and talking with a commercial beekeeper, and they all like to use double screen boards. So I'm going to show you my version of it. However crazy that is. There she is. She's made with 3/4 plywood. And they had these were $1.50, I think, these 3-foot measuring tapes, or not tapes, but yardsticks. Yeah, they were 36 inches. Boom, 36 inches long. So I said, well, that thickness, I like that thickness. Bee space should be fine on that. But then after I slept on it, and took a trazodone, wow, cut back on that stuff, guys. Trazodone is a antidepressant. Because I told the doc I needed something for sleep. I'm not getting any sleep. And freaking month went by, guys. I was getting no sleep. It was crazy. Walking zombie all day. But now I'm about a walking zombie with the trazodone, because it has a lingering effect, and you don't want to get up in the middle of the night with that. After you take it, it only takes about half an hour to an hour to kick in gear. And with me, it's like an hour. You better take some food with it. Some applesauce. Last night it was an Ensure. There's protein in that. So anyway, while I was in the twilight zone, I was dreaming. It's a wonder you don't have nightmares on that stuff. So far, I haven't had any nightmares. But, yeah. And I just realized I laid this line out wrong. Boy, I'm getting good, I'll tell you guys. I'm really getting good. That line there. This line right here is running against the grain. This line here is running with the grain. So I need to flip my deal around and make this lid like this one. You see the grain? It's running this way. So anyway, here's my Bob Binney and a couple other commercial guys tricks I've learned. And I really like this concept. I really love this concept. So we're going to be changing things up here on my splitting of hives. In the past, of course, in the summertime, I've always made them between new moon, full moon. And of course, by the time I was getting into it back in the day when I was turning out these things by the hundreds, I ran 3 frames at first. That was killing me because I couldn't get back around. My yards, bee yards were so far away. 2 hours, some 3 hours for more. Time I got back to these yards in a month, because I only took 1 trip a month to save on fuel. Them things were blown out. I was running 3s at the time. Made a crap load of them things. Time I get back, they were blown out, ready to swarm. It was crazy. It was boiling over. The bees couldn't even get in. There were so many of them. And I usually run with a walk away. And I was doing tons of walkaways. Old commercial beekeeper showed me that trick way back in the day. I picked the ball up and started running with it. And the walkaways are fine, but you want to change up your genetics. You want to buy some queens here and there, put some new blood in there. Some guys just keep breeding and breeding and breeding and breeding from the same stock, grafting. But if you doing that, which is hunky-dory, if you're picking the very best queens, you want gentleness, obviously. Who likes working pissed off bees? Great brood patterns and great honey producers. Those are your 3 things that I would look for if it was me out there grafting queens, grabbing resources to do queen grafts. That's what I would do. What you do is totally different. And every beekeeper is different, trust me. Now, I like this Binney concept, and there's so many beekeepers using this. You can buy these things on Man Lake, Daydant, and I got to sleeping, like I said, step back a minute. I said, that yardstick, it's right there at a 1/4 inch. I said, that's plenty to get a bee in and out of this thing. And I was going to cut an angle ditty to where you could, in a screw where you could pivot this. I don't need to do any of that, guys. No. Because what I'm going to do is cut a 1 7/8 hole, I think was my trick on these. Entrance right in here. Right in here. Okay? And then I take a piece of pallet wood, cheap, free pallet wood, and I drill a hole in one of the corners, and I lay it up there, center it up on that hole. Then I shoot it in with a 2-inch deck screw, and you can snug it up just to where it's tight. It's tight on there, but still you can move it, right? Yep. So anyway, I got to dreaming about this thing, and I said, what the heck am I even putting these on for? There's another waste of income. Don't need it. Why don't I need it? The reason I don't need it is I'm putting an entrance in this box. Hey, and if you don't use the entrance, no biggie. You take your little piece of wood and you turn it down, just like you would a disc. You know, your nuke disc. Same situation. So that would eliminate this piece here. You don't need it coming and going. Not in my mind, not in my world. So yeah, I like this fact. I made some nukes up. They all failed. The day Mark came over, and I don't remember the date. I think it was the 27th on that. I think it was, hard to say. My memory is really sucks these days. But they all failed. And they were kind of a little bit on the light side. And they all crashed. Now I had some beetle issues in them too that I didn't realize, because as soon as they crashed, wow, beetles came in and started putting eggs in them things, and they started swimming with beetle larvae. Totally trashed it. The bees don't even want to work with them things after they've screwed it up with their piss and vinegar. So anyway, yeah, so I just thought I'd show you. And the beauty of these double screens, I don't know if you're aware of it, is you're getting heat transfer. Now I noticed Bob, he only puts 2 holes. And I think his holes are a tad bigger than these. And it looks to me like it's the same bit he uses to cut his mason jar feeder holes. I think. I bet I'm right too. So they may be a tad big. I think them are 2 3/4 somewhere in the area. But these here, are 2 3/4. Now I used to run years ago till I got so damn pissed off. The metal feeder jars would seize up. They start rusting. Then they seize up. Then I'd fight that. You go in here, hot water on them, take a butter knife, trying to break them loose, wasting more time. And then I said, why am I doing this? Finally, you just wear yourself out with stupidity. I found the wide mouth quart jars, and they take the plastic cap. You don't have an issue there because there's a gasket there. There's no rusting with plastic. I said, there you go. Right there you go. That's my go-to lid from now on. So I can bore these size holes, these 2 3/4 holes, and my plastic lid will cantilever over that hole. So that's how these holes came about. I'm thinking your standard mason metal ring jar will fit in that hole. You may have to rat tail it a little here or there, but don't even go there. Don't even go there. I use the same jar, feeder jar, for that backer board lid that goes on a 5-framer. It's right there. You don't have to be real accurate with it. You set it on there, you know about where the hole is, and you set it on there. That's it. But with the beauty of these screens, you're getting heat transfer from the lower colony. And what I'm going to start doing is I'll be starting some with 5s too. I'm going to cut out a 5 out of this piece of wood. And then I'm going to chunk the scraps. That way I don't need nothing on here. But I don't need this on here either. No need. I don't see a need for it. If you guys can tell me you need a need for it, let me know in the comments below. But I don't see where you need this at all. Set the box right on here. Now this box right here goes right this piece of wood I'm fixing here, as you can see, goes to all four corners. So you're going to set the box on here. In my upper box for an entrance, it's going to be opposite of the hive entrance. That I can just work with it'll be just like a plastic disc entry that I use on all my 5-framers. Basically the same thing. And the beauty of this stuff, and on my regular boxes that have, all I do on my boxes too, by the way, guys, a lot of these tools that the industry comes up with is the fact you've got a removable bottom board. Well, if you finally get big enough in this game and you go to clip pallets, what do you need a bottom board for? The clip pallet is the bottom. Yeah, look up those dimensions. The numbers are out there. If you start getting big time, you start getting old squirrely like most of us do, and want to get in the bee game big time. Most of the guys go with clip pallet. I see the Canadian beekeeper. He does just a two box pallet, and he uses a hive lift. Well, years ago, I built two Kelly booms. I had a welder. I had all the goodies. I built two Kelly booms, and all it was like a 3-inch pipe, steel pipe, and that was welded onto the frame of my truck. I made it flatbed too, and I came across that both frames. Actually tack welded it to the frame, and then I put my boom up right to the front. I cut out a little bit for my decking on my truck deck, which was plywood. It was framed with 1x4, welded up, and then I decked it with 3/4 plywood. And that worked fine, but if you guys ever do that, put it in double that thickness, and then maybe have a piece of aluminum covering that up, because you're going to everything gets sticky. You know that honey running all over the place. So yeah, make sure that you deck it with some aluminum, thick aluminum. I would say, I don't know, 3/16, at least. Yeah, so back in the day, I had this Kelly boom. Well, my bottom boards was just basically a standard bottom board. I was copying that because everybody and his brother uses them, right? So why don't I? But then I had an issue getting my forks under. I picked up with that Kelly boom only one hive at a time. Like I say, it had a 3-inch pipe going up, and I had it up there. I mean, not super high. Because I only wanted to stack them 3 high or 4 high. I think it was 4 high, my singles. And I put a cleat. What I did, I put a cleat down on the bottom. Say this is the bottom. I put a cleat on the bottom. That gave me a space for my forks to go in. And I always loaded my truck like this. So I came in with my forks, pick it up. That thing works slick. What I used was a 30-to-1. I went to Granger. I bought a 30-to-1 gearbox. And it's fed. The live shaft comes in, and the output shaft is 90 degrees from it. And I ran it all with number 40 chain. Number 40 chain. I put sprockets on this thing. And then up at the very top of my boom, this whole thing swivel. I had another pipe come into the top of the pipe, 3-inch vertical, going in. Then we took your barn door tracks that hold up your barn door. That went in, and it was welded to a 2-inch square pipe, 2-inch box tube that was attached to the top of the boom. Okay, so now you have a traveling device, and it had a pulley here, and a pulley made another bracket with a pulley here, and I also had, so it could track, it go back and forth, and the cable would come down and double on my set of forks that had a pulley up here. Operated something like a Kelly boom lifter. They used to sell quite a few of them back in the day. I couldn't find one, and I just copied another beekeeper's. Yeah, he was running about 400 or 500 at the time, and then he finally wanted to get bigger, and then he got bigger, and then he got divorced, and then his buddy got into it with him. He got bigger, because they were in competition, and they both got divorces. And they left. They was down in Largo, and then they moved. Next thing I know, they got divorced, and they're selling out. The whole thing went to hell, and they went to San Antonio over here, east of me, bought a big old farmhouse, had a big shop out back, big barn, work shed, perfect for this guy. And he started building honey extractors, and the honey extractor was nothing more than a big tank. I don't know, this tank was like, I don't know, almost 4 feet across. Steel. And I said, well, how do you make that food grade? Oh, that's easy. White epoxy paint. Okay. I built one too. I built a box extractor, and I was running all shallows at the time, and you uncap, and then I had a drip tray, because these things, once you uncap, they're dripping all over the place. So I had made up a drip tray where I could set these shallow boxes on. It's dripping down on this piece of galvanized, and it was going over and dropping into a bucket. So you capped everything, put it on your drip rack where you're doing all the uncapping. Then you grab them, and I was uncapping by hand, by the way. I didn't have a Cowan deal, whatever. Those chain uncappers are pretty slick. This fellow over here built one, and he built one of those, and that thing worked slick. And he had a rheostat on the track on it, where you could just lay the frames on their side, and he adjusted the chain. They had a cylinder that he drilled and put chains on, those little light chains, and that was mounted to that cylinder with a motor on it that was rheostated. So he could dial that in for the speed, and then he controlled the depth. So then he also had another rheostat motor on the track. It was a conveyor going in. So you just lay the frames on, and they start going through real slow. But he could dial it up however he wanted, and it would tear all those caps off, come out the other, and that had a drip tray on it also. Because as soon as you tear them caps off, the stuff bleeding everywhere, So anyway, I learned a lot of stuff from these guys, and I try to pick and choose how I wanted to go with it. And I finally got a pretty good system going, and my workload, I was a pipeline foreman, and my workload was getting off the chart crazy. And the boss man, he didn't really want me playing with the bugs. I want your ass here running the pipeline. I had like 10 guys. I had the ramrod. I want your ass here. Forget the bees. Well, I never knew in construction you're going to get laid off, right? I wanted more irons in the fire. But back in the day, I'm talking the 70s and all, I was full of piss and vinegar. Yeah, So I could do that kind of stuff. But at my age now, no. We ain't doing that craziness, no. I just want to do my bee business as a sideline hobby. It's all I'm doing, sideline. You guys run it any way you like with your, of course, consider your age. Yeah, so I'm building a few of these double screens. And I like this idea, this concept. I really do, for the simple fact, you're capturing the heat. All the heat's coming up from the lower colony up into the top box that you're going to make your bees in. And you can do it. You can do it and walk away, and you can do it with cells. You can do it with mated queens, however you want it to go. But obviously, the cheapest way to go is a walk away. You can't get any cheaper than that. The bees are doing it all for you. They're grafting and making the queens themselves, and that is the cheapest way to go. But one of the best ways to go is do what everybody does, is graft. And you're grafting from your very best stock. But she could go out, your new virgin could go out and get mated with a butthead like maybe Hunter. Yeah, and then you'd have a very weird child, you know. You never know. You're gonna breed the best, raise bees from the very best stock you got, graft from the best stock you got. But when time she gets out to her mating flight, comes back, did she get a good mating? And I think it's better, you want to jump into it. For Florida, we can jump right in there in April. Some guys do it earlier and start breeding up queens. I think it's better to just wait a little bit. Don't get too wild and crazy. Wait a little bit till the warms up, and the existing older queens, year-old queens, my thing is here, all these years, I would just let these queens go till they failed. I don't want to do that anymore. From my experience, just kill the old queens when you're up and running to make more queens. Yeah, kill the old queen. And the best way to go is get yourself, I'm going to put this down for a minute, the best way to go here with that is you got your existing queen down here, right? Take the existing box that's below. My thing too is going to be trying to double stack these 8s. Or double stack 5 frame. You can do this either way, 5s or 8s. Or 10s. I know many guys use these bottom ones in 10s. But as you age, you're not going to be the spring chicken that you used to be when you were 19. Remember how you were 19, 20? You were, let me say this. You were horny as a 3-peckered billy goat, full of testosterone, right? And you never seem to run out of energy. No. But as you age, that billy goat stuff goes away. Not totally, but you know what I'm saying. So gear this stuff. Don't gear it to a point where you're going to get divorced. Let me say that. I've seen a lot of divorces with honeybees because they get so involved. Everything revolves around honeybees and forget the home life. And there's where the problem comes in. Yeah, you're not taking care of your Miss Daisy like you should be. Anyway, yeah, with this system, what I'm going to do is by fall have everything in double stacked 8s. Keep an eye on them. If one should crash during the winter, salvage your frames, clean that mess up, and get ready for spring. But what I'm going to do is double stack my 8, so now I got 16 frames of resources, right? When I'm ready to go with this queen breeding program, this box here is going off the side. All right. I'm going to take my top box, move it over here. Okay. Then I'm going to take all these, I'm going to take my bottom box here to start pulling frames out. But I'm going to put another box here. I'm going to double stack a box here of 8 frame beefy hives, just like that one. You just envision that double stack. But on the bottom, I'm going to put a queen excluder. And I'm really liking those yellow queen excluders. I haven't test drove them yet, but I think they're going to be slick. I got paid. I got 6 of them for 24 and change, Amazon. So go out there and look for those. And if you have used those, got some experience with them, give me a shout out. Let me know how they're doing for you. But to me, they look like they'd be doing great. I know one beekeeper that uses the stamped ones. He said they do fine. I think they have a hard time getting through them, but that's my own stupid opinion. I don't know for sure. But anyway, yeah, that's going to go on this bottom box here on the top. And I'm going to take, I'll probably have another box off the side. This sounds like it's getting confusing right about now, don't it? But it really isn't. You're going to put an excluder down. You're going to put another box on top. That top box over that is going to be a funnel. So you're going to shake the bees, all the bees. You don't even have to find a queen, guys. You don't even have to hunt for a queen, especially if you're going through a ton of these things. There ain't enough hours in the day to be farting around looking for queens. No, there ain't. There's no time for that. So you're going to shake. Your box up here is going to act as a funnel. You're going to take all these frames out of this existing bottom one. And then you got this one over here, the one top one you pulled off. You got 16 frames of resources. You're going to then shake all the bees through this brood chamber funnel in there. Then you're going to smoke them down. You might want, after a frame or two, pull it off, drop a couple frames down in there that you shook off. So the bees have something to crawl through and crawl down on. As you're clearing out these supers, you don't have to look for the queen. She's going to be on the bottom. When you're done, you smoked them down into that lower chamber. It's a queen that's going to be on that excluder. Then you reach in and give her the pinch test. You grab her little thorax and you go crush. That puts them out of commission, of course. So now you've got a queenless box. You could leave the queen in the lower chamber. If you find her, you find a queen on, when you find the queen on that excluder, she could be in this box that was on the bottom. She could be over here in this box on the top. You don't know. You won't know. But if you're doing this shaking, you'll find the queen. That's the whole object of this thing I'm telling you here. You can find your queen without going through all the rifling through and spending hours and hours looking across frames looking for a queen. No. She'll be on the excluder. You can either take her, if you're not ready to kill her, put her in the bottom box. Now, all these resources over here, you're going to take and shake through the double box and let them go through. If you find the queen, you really don't need to do all this shaky stuff. All you need to do is equal the resources. The top box where you're going to make a queen, you're going to want a lot of sealed brood, a few eggs on some, maybe a honey frame, put them on the outside, and then load that box up. Once you find your queen, you're done playing the shaking game. You know where she's at. You're going to put her in the bottom chamber. The top chamber, you're going to take the excluder off. You are then going to drop on your board your double screen board. You're going to drop that on. Bob, like I said, Bob runs 2 holes about this size, and he centers them over here. It works for him. Hey, I thought maybe he thought less is more. I think more is better because you get more heat transfer. This is a fairly good area here. Some of these screen boards go the entire, this is 8th screen. It's expensive. I don't have much left. I got partial roll over there. I've ate quite a few rolls of that stuff last summer, building nukes and what's that. But yeah, you can see I got a screen on both sides. That way the bees can't lick each other. If they can lick each other, no, they're not going to be queenless. They will not. Once you put this double screen board on, and the bees are separated and they can't touch each other or lick each other, this whole top box that you're going to put on, once you get your resource in the bottom you want, you're going to throw this thing on. Now you're going to throw another box on there and start transferring all the frames over here, the ones you want. You've got lots of resources to pick and choose from. Like I said, you want quite a bit. You want this top box strong that you're putting on there. You got a queen below, right? You got a queen down there. She's still cranking eggs. When you put this top box on, then you don't have a queen, so that's a stall point. But you're going to have a lot of sealed brood up here. Put a lot of sealed brood. If you're going to do a walk away, make sure you got a frame. Put it right in the center of some eggs. If you got some nice graftable larvae, put that in the center if you're doing a walk away. That's the way I'm going to go. And what you want to do, you walk away, you just mark the top of your hive. 30 days from the date you did all this, you come back 30 days, 80% of the time you're going to have a brand new baby girl in the top. Now, you can open the top. I'm going to have a disc over here that's this size hole. Actually, I'm wrong. No, it's a 1 7/8 blade, paddle blade I use. And then I put my swivel door on there. And that works for me. That works for that hole, that 1 7/8 hole is plenty big. I've seen many bee trees and buildings. They're coming through tighter holes than that. I've seen large colonies zipping in and out of holes like this in a building, or a soffit, like a soffit up under there. Yeah. So that's the way I'm going to go. And of course, when I get set up, I get lots of resources where I can make strong cell builders. Then we'll graft. Then we'll start grafting. But until then, I will probably buy some cells, and I'll probably buy a few mated queens, or I'll buy virgins. A lot of guys selling virgins. You can pick them up half the price you can of a mated queen. But then you've got the gamble, of course, of her running out, getting mated and getting back, but not getting eaten by a bluebird or dragonfly. It's a roll of the dice. All this stuff is a roll of the dice. You don't know. But we keep pushing on and keep trying, and eventually you'll be swimming in bees. And I'm down to the bare bones out here, guys. I think I got enough bees to keep on going. I got all summer to play with them. I know I'm not going to the waterfront this year to make honey with my stupid physical condition. So, yeah, I mean, we'll get there. We'll get there. It's just going to take time. That's all. Okay, guys, I got to stop BSing. I got to cut up more of these. And for the beefy, and for my beefy beehive, if you guys use 2-inch stock like I'm doing, my 8-framers run 13.5 by 21 5/16, as you can see. That's the size of my 8-frame beefies. You make these things in 10-frame, guys, it's gonna be heavy because you're using 2x6s here, and you're gluing them together. As you can see, that's the joint there, and it's glued together, and I put one clamp in the center. So yeah, it's going to get heavy if you make a 10. But these 8s are great. They're easy to lift. The 10s are so cumbersome, and if you pick up the handles, then you're laying this box up on your belly. You got a lot of cantilever weight out there. So you got to keep that in mind. All right, guys, I'm going to run. I got to get the saw fired up, make some sawdust. I'll see you real soon. Be happy, be strong. We're going to keep getting it on. See ya.